Have you ever seen one of those incredible slow-motion videos where a bullet flies right into an axe blade and just splits perfectly in two? It looks totally unreal, right? Like something straight out of a movie. But there's some really fascinating science behind it. So let's break down what it really takes to slice a speeding bullet. So let's just get right to the big question. What really goes down in that split second when the bullet hits the axe? Does it just explode into a million tiny pieces? Does the axe shatter? Or is that clean, perfect split something that can actually happen? Okay, so let's start with what most people would probably guess. You've got the soft-lead bullet moving at an insane speed, and it's about to hit a solid steel axe. Your gut instinct probably tells you the bullet is just going to flatten out or completely disintegrate on impact. And, that's the most common belief. Yep, that's pretty much the standard thinking. The idea is that the bullet, with all that speed and energy, is just going to obliterate itself the moment it touches that sharp, unmoving edge. A total, instant shatter. But, as is so often the case, when you get into the nitty-gritty of physics, it's not quite that simple. A bullet can definitely shatter, for sure, but getting that picture-perfect, clean split, that's a whole different story. It's not an accident. It's more like a finely tuned experiment. So how do you get that perfect slice instead of a messy shatter? Well, it turns out there's a very specific recipe you have to follow. It's not just one thing. It's a combination of 3 key ingredients that have to line up perfectly. And here they are, the 3 absolute must-haves. First, the alignment. The gun and the axe blade have to be lined up flawlessly. We're talking precision down to a fraction of a millimeter. Second, the blade itself has to be ridiculously sharp. And third, and this one is so important, the metal of the axe head has to be extremely hard. If you miss even one of these, the whole thing just doesn't work. So, what do we even mean when we say a metal is hard? Well, in material science, hardness is all about a metal's ability to resist being bent, dented, or scratched. Think about it like this. In your kitchen, you've got aluminum foil and a heavy cast iron skillet. That skillet is way, way harder, right? It resists getting all dented and messed up, while the foil just tears. It's the exact same idea here, just cranked up to a whole other level. And this is where it gets really interesting. Just look at the difference in outcome. If you used an axe made of a softer metal, the blade would just dent or maybe even break. The edge would be ruined, and the bullet? It'd probably just shatter or ricochet, which is super dangerous. But with an extremely hard metal, the axe blade basically holds its ground. It withstands the bullet's force, the edge stays intact, and it acts like a perfect wedge, forcing that softer lead bullet to split right down the middle. And all of this leads us to the grand finale. When you get all 3 of those conditions, the perfect alignment, the insane sharpness, and the super hard metal, when they all come together just right, you get that spectacular result we all came to see. So just picture it for a second. The gun is locked down, aimed with laser precision. The axe is bolted in place, its razor-sharp edge made of some specially hardened steel pointed right into the path of that bullet. Everything is perfectly set. And in that instant, the bullet, traveling hundreds of meters a second, makes contact. There's just no time for it to squish or shatter in a random way. All of its force, all of its energy gets focused on that one single microscopic point of the blade's edge. And there's the result. Because that axe blade is so much harder and holds its edge, it just wins the battle. It cleaves right through the softer lead of the bullet, splitting it neatly into 2 halves that just keep on flying past. A perfect, clean slice. So really, the big takeaway here is this simple formula. Splitting a bullet isn't some kind of magic trick. It's just a really demanding demonstration of physics. You need that absolutely perfect alignment, a mind-bogglingly sharp edge, and a blade made from incredibly hard metal. It's the ultimate test of precision and material science. And that kind of leaves you with a cool question to think about, doesn't it? If something as wild as slicing a bullet clean in 2 is possible with just the right conditions, what other impossible things are out there that are really just a physics problem waiting for us to figure out? Pretty cool to think about. Thanks for tuning in.